Author Dan Putkowski here, and you're doing time with Dan in book review mode. Today we're going to talk about The Rules of Civility by Amor Towles. I read this novel on my Kindle, and I'm glad that I did. I saved a few bucks and we kept those trees out there in the forest. Now, this novel is absolutely brilliantly written. When it comes to description, Mr. Towles is like a National Geographic photographer. He captures absolutely all of it. There are endless passages about things people did in Manhattan in 1938, all the way down to the shoes they wear, how they buy dresses, the oysters they eat, the champagne they drink, how to make a martini, the cars they drive, the cars they also crash. You'll see the apartments of both the rich and the poor, and all of this is very, very well done. As far as the plot, well, not so much. But let's talk about how this thing gets off to the races. There are three people, really, who figure prominently in this story. And the first one, and sort of the center of the story, is a woman named Katie Content. She lives in a rooming house with her friend Eve, who is from Indiana, but doing very well in Manhattan because she knows how to climb the ladder. They go out on New Year's Eve 1938 for one last great time to bring in the new year, and they run into a fellow who appears to be a banker, very well-to-do at any rate, and his name is Tinker Gray. Now what they don't know is behind the scenes looms another woman, and her name is Anne Grandin. And throughout the story, these people are going to run into each other very coincidentally, and they're also going to separate in tragic and sometimes tragically romantic ways, you could say. At any rate, they're doing very well in the beginning until a tragic car accident. That's right, Eve is literally thrown through the windshield, her face is severely cut, and one of her legs is banged up quite badly. So Tinker takes pity on her, she moves in with him, and she's living the life, really living the life. Katie's sort of on the sidelines, even though the story is told from her perspective. She's not going to get a shot at Tinker for quite a while. And that's where the book really goes off the rails. You know, Katie dallies with these other men, she sees the lives of the rich and famous, she gets promoted and quits her job the next day. She does all sorts of things that don't really figure into the story, other than just a woman trying to find herself. And as far as the plot goes, it's not very strong. I'm not sure exactly why Katie is doing these things. Is it all for the love of Tinker? Is she trying to impress another man? Is she just trying to live her own life? It's really not clear. And throughout that book, there's all these great descriptions, which are long diatribes that really take the reader away from any semblance of a plot. I'm not sure if that's the goal of the book, to just sort of portray 1938 through one woman's eyes. Perhaps it was. I mean, the critics absolutely love this book. And I do like the writing. I think Mr. Towles is a consummate professional. He can turn a phrase and show you what all these situations are like, and yet they don't seem to have a point. Unless the point is simply to describe a situation and not to assemble it into a plot, a good storyline that will keep the reader interested. Many times I put this book down and I felt guilty about it because the story was just completely lacking, and yet these descriptions were brilliant. So it's sort of a coffee table book, you know, those books of great pictures. You can page through New York in 1938, but if you're looking for a plot, well, I'm sorry to say, this book just isn't there for you. Anyway, I'm going to give the book 2 stars. Why? Because it is 5-star writing, but it is a novel, and it lacked a plot. So therefore, it's only 2 stars here at Doing Time with Dan for The Rules of Civility. Thanks for stopping by here, and stop back frequently for more book reviews and interesting things from around the world.